Quotation from myself, segment 10, quotation number 130. Almost everybody loves pet animals, especially dogs and cats. Many people want to own them, so they have to buy their pets from somebody in the business of breeding and selling them. This leads to creation of the open market in pets trade, and when there is a market, there is competition. In this competition, like in any other, the seller who has the lowest price wins. Now, to have the lowest price, he has to spend as little as possible on making the product. In the pet market, the product is animal. So the producer has to spend as little as possible on breeding animals and looking after them. As a result, the animal suffers. Thus, this love for animals produces their suffering. In addition, the love for animals as pets leads to yet another suffering, the suffering of other animals who have to be slaughtered to feed the pets who, no matter how cute, cuddly and tame, are essentially carnivores. When we are affectionately choosing for our beloved pets their favorite dogs or cats' food, we tend to forget that it is made of other animals, killed so that ours can eat. Thus love again produces suffering. Number 131. The ancient Greece was a product of its geography. Islands separated by the sea, city-state by the mountains ranges, close enough to communicate and trade with each other, to exchange ideas, experience and knowledge, and yet far enough to remain, most of the time, independent politically, socially, culturally, thus avoiding the stifling forces of centralism. Social scientists often complain that unlike their colleagues in technical fields, they cannot stage experiment to verify their hypothesis to gain more knowledge. The ancient Greece, with its multitude of separate independent island states, and to a lesser degree city-state on the mainland, and also numerous colonies all over Mediterranean, was such a natural experimental laboratory to study human behavior under the different yet similar circumstances. It was just waiting for an objective and keen observers like Aristotle to take all this available information and to make the social and political discoveries that are valid even today. Number 132. Not many men will dare to cut the branch they are sitting on. Let it be even dry and dead, as long as this dead branch is strong enough to hold their weight. Number 133. Nationalism is unquestionably the most powerful weapon of the modern age. The strong and dominant, whether nation or national majority, use it to justify and maintain their position. The weak and oppressed, both nations and national minority, use it to claim equality and the struggle for liberation. Thus, though means are the same, the ends are different. Number 134. We do what we do because of what we are. We are unhappy because we do this. We will be happy when we'll do that. But to do that, we have to be what we are not. We cannot be what we are not. We will not be happy. Number 135. Those who are constantly looking for new experiences in the course of their lives undoubtedly accumulate a lot of knowledge in the process. Yet, precisely because of this constant search for the new, they seldom have the opportunity to utilize their great knowledge. And even if they had, it would have been of little use, since this knowledge has always been acquired in more or less different circumstances, again because of the same perpetual quest for the new. 136. The French says, "Vive la différence," but they are, rightly or wrongly, considered to be one of the most egocentric, if not xenophobic people on earth. Evidently to them, la différence means nothing more than variation of things and qualities assumed to be intrinsically French, and therefore the best. Consequently, they see no reason to look outside, since, to paraphrase Dr. Johnson, the man who is tired of friends is tired of life, for friends has all what the man needs. The British usually have more interest in things that are different. Different people, different climates, different cultures, etc. But this interest is of a rather anthropological nature. They seldom get intimately involved with the different and almost never adopt or assimilate it. They always keep the distance. It is as if they are saying to the rest of the world, "We're curious about you and we appreciate that you are different, but let's be honest about it. When all has been said and done, don't we all know that the British are superior to everybody else? And so, as far as they are concerned, the grass is always greener on their side of the fence, both figuratively and literally." The Germans are basically the same as British, only in their own earnest German way, and sometimes could be deadly serious about it. Deadly indeed, as we all know by now. All other nations have undeniably more or less the same ambiguous life-hate relationship with the different. But what is the cause of this universal phenomena? What is it about the different that makes it superficially attractive but basically hateful? To try to answer this question, let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from darkness. Thus, in the myth of creation, one can see in allegorical form the process of interaction between man and his world. First, he perceived it as a homogeneous and amorphous, without a form unity. In the next step, this unity is divided into the opposite and different thing, divided the light from darkness. If only man could have stopped here and were satisfied with the simple establishment of difference, but he wouldn't. He immediately makes the next step and starts evaluating this difference. It was good. For example, the light was good. But what is the opposite of light? It is darkness. Then it must be bad, since the light, its opposite, is good. So we see from the beginning that having established the difference, we always proceed consciously or subconsciously to passing the value judgment and turn the difference in kind into the difference in quality. And it is not only the qualities that directly oppose each other and therefore mutually exclusive, like for example good, bad, beautiful, ugly, kind, unkind, etc., which attract our immediate attention. It's also a different degree of the same quality, as in good, better, best, bad, worse, worst, etc. This almost automatic impulse to pass a value judgment, and associated with it the power of qualitative discrimination, are the product of evolutionary process. They both have been indispensable tools in man's struggle for survival at the early stage of human development, when the ability to correctly and quickly identify what is good and what is bad, to detect the difference between good, better, and best, and between bad, worse, and worst, and finally to make what we call now the optimal choice, was often a matter of life and death, either immediately or in the long run. And even today, today's man, whenever he finds himself in a primitive condition, unprotected by institutions of modern civilization, which most of the time make those vital choices for him, would find the above-mentioned abilities absolutely essential for his well-being, if not for survival. Of course, the same ability that nature endowed us with for our protection can be and often are misapplied, being used either when uncalled for or in a way completely opposite to the one they were intended for. Then instead of protecting us, they unnecessarily harm others, as it often happens when the power of qualitative discrimination turns into prejudice and rejection, or even, in extreme cases, hate, or what is perceived rightly or wrongly as different. As far as the initial and superficial attraction to the different is concerned, it is no more than another manifestation of curiosity, which comes from a need to know what has been previously unknown in order to assess its potential danger. And as soon as the different is recognized as such, and therefore alien, it is treated accordingly with apprehension, mistrust, rejection, and in extreme cases, even with hate.